Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to FOB TV, the future of business. It is here, this location, where we explore the forces shaping tomorrow. I'm your host, Kevin Benedict. I'm a futurist and lecturer here at TCS. Just thrilled that you're joining us today. In this episode is all about loving places without loving them to death. The promise and future of regenerative tourism. Does that sound exciting? It does to me because I love the great outdoors. And to help us explore this topic, I'm joined by Satu, Angeli, regenerative tourism innovator, change maker, creative force, master's student in regenerative business, and she has recently authored the thesis paper, Regenerative Path in Tourism, Value Chain Development. Is that a mouthful? We're going to have fun. Welcome to the show, Satu.
Thank you, Kevin. Thank you for the invitation. It's very inspiring and exciting to be here.
And where are you calling in from today?
I am calling from Finland, Lapland, and more precisely from the northwest part of the Lapland and the municipality called Enontekiö.
Now, I'm never going to pronounce that, but that's... So talk to us. For those that don't know about Lapland, tell us what it's like. What does the geography look like? What does it look like? What does it smell like? What is it?
Well, it is covered with open spaces, wilderness areas, fell tops, marshmallow swamps, forests, reindeer more than people. It's a beautiful, silent, and somehow extreme also area, which smells, in the winter, it smells like very cold and nothing.
And there's probably berries and all kinds of fun things.
Yes, a lot of berries and a lot of mosquitoes already now, but not too much at the moment yet.
Oh, well, great. So you've been studying and doing a lot about that. So we're going to talk more about that here. So archipelago. So tell us about Finland's archipelago region. What does archipelago mean? And tell us about that region.
Okay. Well, archipelago region is located in southwest part of the Finland. It is a vast area and fragmented area with more than 20,000 islands. It is behind the waterway, and that means ferry. There are 4 main islands, and they used to be municipalities themselves. So it is easier to understand how all the islands, how the societies in the islands are unique in character and culture and nature. Some of the islands are reachable within 1 hour driving time from the mainland, and some require several ferries and 6 to 7 hours of traveling. And some islands are geographically very small, so it is easy to understand that the capacity to carry and receive external pressure is limited, both in nature and society. And big part of the Archipelago Sea region is a national park, so it is recognized as important and fragile natural and cultural environment. And there is a strong will to enable the vitality and habitability of the ecosystem in the area. And that's why all these are reasons why applying regenerative approach is vital to the area.
So I imagine there's a tourist season where people flood the islands and then for a lot of the year they go away. So those islands potentially could be overwhelmed at certain seasons of the year. Am I correct in that understanding?
Yes, that's correct. You are understanding perfectly.
Well, we're facing very similar things here. Matter of fact, this week on the news in California, we have this giant national park called Yosemite, and the traffic, it looked like miles long traffic waiting to get through to pay access to this park. And then there's no parking, there's no camping, it was just completely overcrowded.
I can imagine.
Yeah. So I imagine in the summertime, there must be similar effects in the archipelago, right?
It is crowded. Yes, you are right. And this is why we're talking about regenerative tourism.
Yeah. So what is regenerative tourism, and how is that name, or how is that different from responsible or sustainable tourism?
Well, first of all, sustainability and responsibility, they are not vanishing anywhere. Regenerative approach only sets up a new filter through which you see and comprehend the world. I mean, the living systems. And it is a values-based thinking, challenging the economic-driven world, which has quite narrow perspective. So regeneration puts nature and people first to create long-lasting and thriving living conditions for people, nature, and businesses. And as we can understand, all places are unique from their nature and culture. So regeneration is place-based observing, not one size fits all, as criteria and metrics tend to be in sustainability. When we talk about sustainability, it is about understanding how we human beings are one with the nature and how we should act according to nature intelligence. And regenerative thinking or development is about returning to nature in a modern way, I would say, by applying the understanding of to cooperation, collaboration, sharing, caring, pace of life, and offering the best potential we all have. So it is about comprehending the systemic interdependent world. And as we talk about regenerative tourism now, it's about applying this approach to offer the potential of tourism industry to thrive the ecosystem.
So I'm hearing a couple of things. One is you brought out there's multiple stakeholders, and there's a lot of different groups interested in getting different values out of that area. I also hear, so it seems that sustainable tourism, that's not enough. And I want you to help us understand that. What first convinced you that sustainable tourism was no longer enough? And how is sustainable and regenerative different?
Well, as I mentioned earlier, the metrics and criteria can't find the understanding and strength behind values. Our possibility to have an impact on this planet's well-being is based on value choices and applying the wisdom of nature. It is difficult to survive alone. It means that you should be able to know and do everything yourself. Nature collaborates, and it does that place-based naturally. And the potential in tourism industry is in creating a values-based value chain. The industry in Finland comprises of micro, small, and medium-sized businesses. So the strength lies in setting the nets afloat together, as we describe in our thesis. And that is what convinced me that the global sustainable metrics are not enough. And the research shows that merely reducing waste or water use or improving efficiency, for example, is not enough to face the environmental and social crisis. And we can definitely do better. We human beings are able to make choices on behalf of the nature also. That must be remembered.
So you mentioned these multiple stakeholders that are interested in utilizing and participating and being a part of the communities and the environment. How do you rank who has the most influence or the strongest voice in tourism? Is it visitors? Is it the entrepreneurs? Is it residents, scientists, municipalities, nature itself? I mean, what's the ranking there?
This is a good question and very important one. And as I mentioned before, regenerative development is place-based because of the uniqueness of the nature and societal environments. And when we think about the tourism perspective, there is always some sort of attraction that attracts people. It can be one single flower, some rare bird, an old oak tree, beautiful beach, felltop. It can be a specific culture, specific habits, or traditional food, for example. The attraction itself is the value, and therefore the attraction should be the one carrying the most important voice in the tourism development. And by this, I mean nature also. As nature doesn't have a voice itself, there are scientists to give the voice for nature species. Mm-hmm. And that is basically the answer. That is the base from where the development begins. After that, you must understand the system and the logic and make it work in a regenerative way.
So how do you grow tourism without just loving the place to death? It's having massive tourism because somebody put it on Instagram, this beautiful beach, and then suddenly you get tens of thousands of people wanting to visit that beautiful location. So how do you manage that?
This is a lovely question. It makes me take perspective from relationship. I mean, romantic relationship, because you can love your partner to death, right? If we start observing the ways how not to do it, it includes giving some space to breathe, enabling spending time alone, valuing the specific characters, taking into account in decision-making, having a dialogical relationship, valuing the limits, taking care of the potential. So, in my opinion, if you apply these to a destination or to a place, it is possible to develop without loving to death. This was really a genius question. I loved it.
This reminds me, our daughter loves to grab our dog and just lay on it and hug it. And the dog doesn't like that. At a certain point, the dog's like, get off me, leave me alone.
Exactly.
You got to give me a little bit of respect and space and dignity here.
Yes. You have to value the limits.
Yes. So I was reading through your thesis, and it seems that you're saying, so your thesis seems to suggest tourism can become a force for healing a place or regeneration. What does that actually look like in practice?
Okay, as we speak about place-based development, in practice, it means finding out the specific needs, challenges, and the potential of certain place. And by researching them, it means finding out the potential leverage points, which enable advancing the regenerative development in the area. It means understanding the actions which can be adapted to implement the leverage points. So our research results indicates that in practice, it means building a values-based value chain among the actors who, in a way or other, are affecting tourism industry. It means giving a voice to the attraction, and that is residents and the nature. That means collaborating among the entrepreneurs and local associations. And the results point out the need of a bridge builder, as we call it in our thesis, who brings actors to the same table and fosters the collaboration of shared goals. And science should be involved to create aligned ecological priorities, and other significant actors are municipality, the funders, the advocacy for tourism, and other sectors which affect the ecosystem. It also means understanding how visitors can involve in generating value. So in practice, regeneration is a breathing and evolving living systems that has specific ecological and social needs.
Wow. So talk to us a little bit about your research methods. Did you talk to different groups? Did you survey or interview, or how did you collect the information?
We had a group interview for chosen specific experts. Then we had a survey for tourism entrepreneurs, and then we had a survey for the local residents. And basically that was the way we collected the data.
Okay. So did you learn anything from the local residents that surprised you or unsettled you?
Well, I don't know if it surprised me, but it was awakening to understand the soul of being a local in the archipelago. We asked them, for example, how does it feel, and described in different words. And there were descriptions like feeling like being one with the sea and how the sea runs in your veins. And that makes me understand how vital it is to give a voice to people who call out their home, who are the ones who interact with the visitors. And I guess none of us would be happy when someone tells you what to do or what happens in your home yard or how your natural environment is treated. So that is something to understand and act according to that knowledge and understanding.
So entrepreneurship is really necessary and important to any community, but it has its own challenges, especially when you're out in the islands and things are seasonal. What did you have a chance to talk to tourism entrepreneurs about the difficulties of trying to operate a business in that environment?
And not straight to talk, but I have met them, of course, before. But at the moment, we collected interesting data from the survey. And when we talk about challenges, I guess they lie in the fact that the region is a fragmented area geographically, and you can easily have a sense of feeling left alone. And there is also a pressure of knowing and doing everything alone. And there was a strong will of sharing the pressure and cross-sectoral collaboration. And challenges lie also in the infrastructure, which is really on its limits during the high season. And the natural and social environment also are approaching the limits. And as it is largely a national park, there are some regulations that limit the operation at the moment. So here we can understand that the value choices are to be made on governmental level also.
So is mass tourism fundamentally incompatible with regenerative tourism?
Okay, when we talk about crowds, we talk about a machine that functions in timetables and strong action plans that need to be followed. So here we speak about the metrics and criteria again. And when we speak about regeneration, we talk about values. We talk about finding meaning, understanding local spirit. We talk about slowing down and adapting to natural pace of the environment. So in regenerative tourism, the focus is on the unique special features, which you can observe only when you slow down and when you focus on the moment. Of course, there are differences between places which differ in size. So small island and a capital city, they have different carrying capacities, but still they are both unique places and they are homes for people and nature. So that's why my opinion is no, mass tourism can't walk hand in hand with regeneration.
Wow, that's such an interesting concept, where you're inviting people to change the pace of their life, to appreciate the pace of where they're at. That's a beautiful concept.
I think so too.
Yeah. So can visitors become more than consumers? Can they help with regeneration themselves?
Yes, of course. We can, and we also must. And as we talk about consuming, being a consumer and consuming, it is a one-way street, right? Whatever you consume, food, water, air, love, it is a self-centered method. And if you turn to contribute, it begins to be a two-way street. So there is a good base for a dialogue, and it begins to be interconnected. So definitely we can start to be contributors instead of consumers.
Yeah, beautiful. So what might a tourist do differently if they understood themselves as a guest of a living ecosystem?
Well, the smallest effort a visitor can start with is exploring and understanding where you are traveling to. What is the character of a place? What would you like to find out more? What does the place itself suggests, taking into account? And when you visit, slow down and connect. It is crucial to understand that you are visiting a place someone calls home. And by this, I mean nature and people. And maybe visitors should take it as a possibility to learn something new, learn something outside your daily life and habits. It is a possibility to enlarge your capabilities. And I think this is a good attitude always when visiting with other living systems.
That's so inspiring. The ability not just to go and spend money and consume, but to actually become a collaborator or a participant in a living ecosystem and trying to make it a better place as a result of your presence. That's inspiring. Love it. So let's talk about the whole process of travel. When I'm getting ready for a trip, my wife and I, we do a lot of planning. We do a lot of research. We watch a lot of YouTube videos. So we try to get and understand what we want to do and where we want to go and what appeals to us. So how would communicating and how does marketing shape expectations of tourists as they're preparing to go to a place? Is there ways that marketing can help the traveler become better tourist?
Well, this is at the same time a difficult and easy question. Well, first of all, communication is a difficult action. If you talk with yourself, it is easy to understand what you want to say to yourself. But when there are two or more people interacting, you can never be sure that the message is delivered the way you want. Mm-hmm. But maybe the message in marketing, it should be genuine. It should carry a voice of the attraction, and that is the residents and the nature. And this is how a visitor has even a possibility to understand the character and the suggestions of a place in advance. Mm. So message should call for action and deliver solutions to shape behavior in advance and to make you a better visitor already in advance.
Oh yeah, because I think if you personalize it, there's local residents and local residents actually live here and have expectations of what they want from tourists. And tourists, if they have good communication in advance and good marketing from that region, can be prepared and understand the expectations of the local residents toward them. And I can see the value of that. Absolutely. So the deepest question when I read your thesis seems to be, whose voice is being represented and for what purpose is development undertaken? What would you answer that for, or how would you answer that for the future of tourism?
Well, we human beings have developed into selfish and self-centered directions slowly at the same time when the development generally has evolved. As the life has gotten hectic and full of distractions, the focus has narrowed a lot. I guess to keep all the energy in our own body minds, and the meaning of caring others has diminished. And that is something we need to change to how it was in the beginning of the human life in order not to destroy the ecosystem around us. But we should remember that our actions affect others and others' actions affect us. And the way we treat each others, including the nature, is the future we create for ourselves. And for me, this is the essential understanding where our actions take place and for what we are implementing them overall. Is it our personal instant need and urge, or is it really a shared goal which shares multiple value to all species for common good and need? Our world, as you know, is a systemic network, and that should be understood also. We easily think in silos instead of understanding that we are interdependent, and this applies to future tourism development. I guess it requires broader thinking, but we people have a capacity for that, so let's use it. Let's start recognizing the larger wealth, the multi-capital wealth we have around us, and start caring for each other's. Tourism is a hospitality industry, so the future could be cherishing the meaning and the rooted connections between human beings and other species.
Satu, I want to thank you so much for sharing your wilderness and your world of Lapland, your world of archipelagos and islands. And, I'm inspired listening to you that the same challenges that that your study covers with local residents and tourism and nature, all of that, the same lessons that you've learned and that you bring out in your thesis can be applied everywhere in any region of the world. Those same kinds of concepts are important for all of us. So I want to thank you, especially for doing the research, the work, and congratulations on your thesis.
Thank you.
It's beautiful and I appreciate it. Thank you very much for being on the program today.
Thank you for inviting me, Kevin. It was a pleasure.